afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Scores of job seekers flock Ministry of Health's job fair. Police hold suspect in mayor wounding incident. And later in sports, Sunshine Girls to meet South Africa in second game of 3-match series. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carrie Ann Simpson. Here are the details. Scores of Jamaicans have converged at the grounds of the University of the West Indies with the hope of securing jobs in the public health sector. Our reporter Shimela Pullen is at the location and filed this report.
Thank you, Carrie Ann. The two-day job fair and career expo hosted by the Ministry of Health started less than an hour ago. A steady stream of individuals have been arriving to explore the available opportunities. We counted over 30 booths with general information from various areas in health. Among the attendees are students from various universities and high schools.
It was informative, in which case to say I learned mostly about the human parts. So I went inside and got information as per the medicinal technology, as per the blood sample, in regards to the collection of the samples and how they're screened and returned back to the individual as to get the respective results.
It's quite educational so far. We have not finished yet, but I'm going to get an interview number and then we'll come back.
More than 600 vacancies have been advertised by the Ministry of Health. It is hoping to fill these vacancies in the next 2 days. Shimela Pullen for TVJ News.
Thanks, Shimela. To a TVJ News follow-up. A suspect in the attack of St. Anne's Bay Mayor Michael Belnavis is now in police custody. It's understood he was found with a bullet wound to the chest a short distance from the mayor's house in St. Mary. TVJ News understands that the man has declined to inform the police who shot him. The mayor was entering his house when he was attacked. He was readmitted to hospital yesterday. Culture Minister Olivia Grange says work will continue for the exoneration of national hero Marcus Garvey. She was speaking in Parliament yesterday.
A House rarely united on a cause, but on Tuesday, parliamentarians on both sides of the aisle pledged their commitment to working together to assist in efforts for the exoneration of national hero and civil rights leader Marcus Garvey. He was convicted of mail fraud in the United States in 1923, serving 2 years in prison. Culture Minister Olivia Babsy Grange displaying the transcript of the trial.
It's all here, the details of the trial in the United States.
Like others before her, she believes a pardon is not enough, as it affirms his innocence.
We will continue to work with the Garvey family, led by Dr. Julius Garvey, and all the other stakeholders, the Congressional Black Caucus, the UNIA, both political divide in this House. We'll be at one in this effort to push for the clearing of Marcus Garvey's name and to remember it's one aim, one destiny.
The parliamentary opposition agrees.
The conviction was the result of deliberate sabotage to provide a pretext, yes, for his conviction and deportation. Once the pardon recognizes that, we are clear in our mind that it is indeed for us an exoneration.
Minister, I look forward to the resolution. I think it should be a joint resolution in this House to say that we are resolved to move in one aim and in one purpose, which is to move now to the full exoneration of Marcus Mosiah Garvey.
In the meantime, Ms. Grange highlighted the challenges facing the administration in taking full possession of the childhood home of Garvey in St. Anne for restoration. Although the government acquired the property in 2018, only 2 of 3 distant relatives who occupied it took up the offer for the relocation to a new home and a portion of the money from the property's value.
We don't want to evict her because we don't want it to look like we we are uncaring. But we get to a point where if we have to do that, we will gently remove her. But I understand that recently she had a discussion with the mayor of St. Anne's Bay. And she has agreed that she will sign and agree to accepting the social housing unit and to be now relocated on the civil lands.
Kelisha Williams, TVJ News.
Government Senator Dr. Safar Longmore has hit back at members of the People's National Party for calling her a racist. She addressed the issue at a recent political meeting in St. Anne. At a JLP meeting in the White Horses Division in St. Thomas Sunday night, a fiery government Senator Dr. Safar Longmore fired back at the opposition People's National Party for decrying her as a racist. On Friday, during her presentation in the Upper House, Dr. Longmore showed the image of opposition leader Mark Golding holding the chains of a black man in bondage during a skit at a party rally in 2023. She questioned his decision-making capacity as a leader.
As a man who is seeking because in the role that I hope to play, I would never in any way want to remind Jamaicans of that situation.
Additionally, she blasted members of the party for defending their leader.
Rather than sitting back and humbling themselves and say, you know what, we shouldn't have done it. No, that's not what they're doing. They are digging up my private life and trying to project me as being racist. I don't know if it is, I'm not even going to bring my personal life there. But trust me when I say, I am no racist.
In the meantime, Dr. Longmore is urging Jamaicans to recognize the importance of ancestral intelligence.
Young people today need to know where they're coming from. They need to know their African roots, their Indian roots, their Chinese roots, their European roots, so that they can understand who they are in Jamaica right now and where they can go.
Just a correction, Dr. Longmore was speaking at a recent meeting in St. Thomas. Now, over in St. James, there are renewed concerns about the improper disposal of food waste in the parish. Montego Bay Mayor Richard Vernon wants the health department to pay more attention to the issue.
A tough talking Mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Vernon, says going forward, all construction approvals for commercial buildings must require the installation of grease traps to effectively manage discarded food waste. He highlighted concerns raised by the National Water Commission, NWC, which recently expressed a worry over restaurant waste entering their piping systems.
You must have the grease trap, because it is costing us significantly in the long run. So it is something that we are willing to adopt in our planning department as a part of the condition of approval, and a part that you need to review as public health. When you get the building plans from us, ensure that you are satisfied that the requisite grease trap is in place.
The mayor is urging the St. James Health Department to work closely with the municipal corporation to ensure that all building plans submitted for approvals include provisions for grease traps.
We are committed to ensuring that we play our part, but we need, your continuous support to ensure that that part is properly monitored, because we do not want to approve any commercial development that will be rented, especially to shops and other operations, and they don't have grease traps.
In response, the acting Chief Public Health Inspector Sharika Lewis acknowledged the concerns and provided solutions.
I know that the focus, once there is no overflow and a nuisance is being created by the lack of a grease trap or proper wastewater disposal system, that we don't pay much attention to that part. But since the issue has been coming up, since the call is for us to be more vigilant when it comes on to the presence of a grease trap, because of the problems that are occurring, we will definitely get on it and do what we need to do.
This move comes as local authorities strive to curb the growing concerns over improper waste disposal in the parish. Anthony Atkinson, TVJ News.
It's time for a break. Stay with us, more local stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. The family of a 21-year-old man is seeking answers following the fatal shooting of their relative Sunday night off Waltham Park. The deceased has been identified only as Philip. They staged a protest in the area Monday. According to the people, he was riding his motorcycle when he was fatally shot by the police.
He went and buy some weed at a specific place. After he rode off, he passed the police. And after he passed the police, them hear the gunshot. And that is when they realized that it was in the police kit. Then they place a gun on him and say, them find him with gun and he's wanted, he's a wanted man.
She is refuting the police's claim, noting that he is special needs.
And then he has two personalities. You will be here with your good and talk to him and everything okay, and a little after I call him. And he say, what you want, grandma? So when that side of him come on, I know I just leave him alone.
Is he on medication?
No. They wanted us to drugs him, but the drugs that they give turn them into zombies. So I refuse for him getting into drugs. But as soon as you not pay him no mind, and him come right back. I say, but you know, just rush me a while ago. That's your grandma, man.
In the meantime, Indicom has launched an investigation. It's now time for the Business Minute.
While many are fully optimistic about the possibilities of improved returns on investment for 2025, Head of EM Fixed Wealth Management at Jefferies, Gregory Fisher, is calling for caution. Speaking at the opening of the Jamaica Stock Exchange JSE conference Tuesday night, Mr. Fisher said that this year still looks a little precarious. He explained why.
Stocks will not have the hefty return that we saw in 2023 and 24. But for those that do buy stocks, stock selection here in 25 will be crucial to one's respective portfolio. As far as bonds, I'm a believer that the Fed will see weakening data appear towards the end of Q1 and pivot again, and subsequently they'll end up cutting more, in my opinion, their two rates that have been previously telegraphed for this year. I believe if an investor has patience, solid fixed income securities will be the trade here in this new year. Regardless, stay utterly diversified and defensive, to me, remains paramount in these types of uncharted waters.
Further afield, U.S. President Donald Trump has some ideas about how to deal with TikTok. He's delayed enforcing the ban of the platform for 75 days due to its Chinese ownership. On Tuesday, he said he's thinking about trying to find a buyer who would give half of the company to the U.S. government.
Are you open to Elon buying TikTok?
I would be if he wanted to buy it, yeah.
And on your inauguration,
I'd like Larry to buy it too. I have the right to make a deal.
For the Business Minute, I'm Shane Masters.
And here's a preview of what's coming up in this evening's Health Report.
In this evening's Health Report, we'll look at obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD.
I see most of the obsessive compulsive disorder in the older age group. But it's one of the disorders that individuals will carry around for many years. And until it becomes really dysfunctional, then it's at that time that they come for treatment. So many people walk around and are able to manage their obsessive compulsive disorder, or they do jobs that help them to utilize the obsessive thoughts, the obsessive disorder in a useful way.
That's the health report in Primetime News at 7. And now for today's healthy living tip. Take your medications, seek support, learn to relax, and exercise.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, the government in Haiti has signed an agreement with the trade unions representing teachers, ending a strike that began on January 13. The action paralyzed public schools across the country. Prime Minister Alex Didier-Fils-Aimé led a government's delegation into talks with the unions on Monday, resulting in consensus on several matters. According to a statement issued following the talks, the government has committed to continuing and strengthening the steps being taken to regularize the situation of teachers working without pay or without a letter of appointment, as well as to process files relating to salary areas owed to the teachers. In addition, the government has committed to working closely with state agencies to restore public insurance coverage for the teachers. On the international scene, a day of mourning is underway in Turkey for 76 victims of a fire that engulfed a popular ski resort hotel in the country's northwest. The fire broke out at the 12-story Grand Cartel Hotel in Bolu during a busy holiday period when 234 people were staying there. It took 12 hours to put out the blaze. An investigation has been launched into the incident, and there have been conflicting reports about whether the hotel was set up for safety standards. 9 people have been arrested, including the hotel's owner. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Antonia Atkinson, TVJ News.
Thanks, Antonia. We now head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.